Thank you for joining us back here, everybody. The name of the game again today is Presearch, and we're sitting here once again with Project Lead Colin Pape. Now, Colin, previously, just to give a little bit of a recap, we had discussed how you're the reluctant leader, so to speak, as opposed to the traditional juxtaposed image of Google as a hyper-centralized entity. Presearch is much more grassroots. And today, well, before we were talking philosophy, introductions, I want to go a little bit deeper into the company. So, how's your holiday weekend going over there, Colin? Are you ready to get into it?
Yeah, can't complain. Canada Day up here and Independence Day down there. So it's a good weekend. Interesting timing the way the holidays fell this year.
Yeah. Is that coincidental? I actually don't. I don't know. Is that a coincidence?
Yeah, I don't think it happens that often. So nice.
Yeah, fair enough then. All right. So here, diving into it, can you just give me Presearch in a nutshell for those not yet aware of the project?
Yeah, so Presearch is a decentralized search engine that respects user privacy and rewards you with Presearch tokens when you search, which is our cryptocurrency that also powers our advertising platform, as well as our decentralized computing infrastructure, which powers basically the servers that Presearch runs on, Presearch nodes.
Perfect. And so for the end user, what is the true benefit for the person coming on to use Presearch, not as a mechanism of speculation, but as a product?
Yeah, so I think there's a couple of things from an actual just product standpoint, from a technical standpoint, it provides a different set of search results that people are kind of after. Search is highly centralized. Google has 92% market share. A lot of people are just looking for, an alternative view on the web that is not Google per se. And so Presearch provides that while respecting their privacy. So we're not tracking them, we're not profiling them, we're not storing their search queries and using them for data mining purposes. And then from a kind of an economic benefit standpoint, you are earning Presearch tokens as you search. So it's kind of a reward or an incentive to utilize the platform. And similar to Bitcoin, I mean, they're only worth a fraction right now as people are searching. But ultimately, if the network value continues to grow in size, it is a fixed quantity of Presearch tokens, and ultimately that the token value will grow to the value of the network. So there's potentially some benefit there. And then it's more community driven. There's an opportunity for people to be more involved in the project and have a say and really kind of help shape their search experience. So I think all those things kind of tie in to the ideological reason that a lot of people just want to support something that's, a little bit anti-establishment, more community-driven, decentralized, not big tech, and maybe more aligned with their values.
Yeah, that's a really good point. When you are looking something up on Google, you're trying to find some information, and Google is incentivized, but what Google wants you to see near the top of that information. And so there's definitely some bias there that's maybe not exactly what you are after as a person attempting to use a search engine. So it's interesting to see you guys attacking it from that angle. And it's a rabbit hole. I don't know if anyone's ever kind of dived into how that goes, but there's a whole lot of information around your data and everything. And it's an entire ecosystem. I don't want to say you're the cattle, but your data is a large part of the things that other people are profiting off of. So it's interesting to see that turned on its head. And I feel like it does need a lot more exposure. People need to be aware of the solutions of this, like Presearch. So I guess from there, you had touched on a little bit of the tokenomics. Is there any key things that differentiate you from the other, ocean of coins out there, so to speak?
Yeah, so I mean, for Presearch, we focused really just on utility of the token. Being kind of the core driver. Ultimately, it's a little bit of a slower kind of path to success than some of the other ones that just kind of come out of the gate with all this hype, and there's no actual utility behind it, but there's a lot of excitement, and that tends to work out well in up markets, but in down markets, not so much. And so, you've kind of seen throughout this kind of down turn over the past couple months, Presearch has remained pretty strong because there's some real utility value that's underlying it, and that is primarily with the advertising platform. So if you look at Google, for instance, and I mean, mind you, they're absolutely massive. So we're not a direct comparable, but if you look at their advertising platform, the Google AdWords system, it has been consistently bringing in over $100 billion a year in revenue, and it's really the core driver for the entire Google ecosystem, which includes many other platforms and products as well. It's still 90% of the revenue is coming through these simple text ads that haven't really changed a lot over the past 15 to 20 years. And it's because they're very effective, and they're quite valuable to marketers, people who are looking to promote a product or a service or information. And they're out there trying to find ways to connect with people who might be a potential buyer, a potential audience for what it is that they're offering. And they've got all these different options, whether it's ads on Facebook and Instagram or YouTube, or search ads. And so the search ads have generally been very effective and very valuable because they're very targeted in not just building a profile of somebody and knowing who that person is. That is actually quite irrelevant. What they're looking for because they have indicated through their keywords what it is that their need is. And so that makes the Presearch advertising opportunity also very valuable. And people who are looking to reach our audience, which is now approaching 4 million registered users, more than 1 million unique searchers a month, primarily cryptocurrency enthusiasts, people who are tech savvy. And if people want to reach those people, this is kind of a way that they can do it. They buy Presearch tokens, they go in, they create an ad, and currently there's no actual real cost for the clicks that they're getting. So with Google, it might be a couple of bucks a click up to a couple of $100 a click.
Yeah.
With Presearch, the clicks are actually currently free. What you need to do is you buy those Presearch tokens, you commit them to the keyword that you want your ad to be displayed on, and then whoever commits the most gets their ad displayed. The thing is that you continue to to own those tokens, and you can cancel your ad at any time, return those tokens into your account, sell them if you like, or hang on to them or use them for a different purpose. So it's kind of a land rush type scenario in that, it's a new opportunity. It's got a pretty huge audience, one of the largest in the entire crypto ecosystem. And there's an opportunity for people to get traffic without really paying for those clicks. And so we've got a lot of marketers that are adopting the platform. And then as well, we've got through the Presearch node system, which enables people to contribute the computing resources to power the project. There's a staking requirement, which is really kind of related to the security of the platform. And so people are buying them in order to stake, to provide infrastructure and then earn on that infrastructure as well. So those are really kind of the two major demand drivers at the moment. And it's been quite successful. We just today cracked 215 million pre-staked out of 500 million total supply. So we've got a pretty huge amount that are being used for that real utility.
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, going back to near the beginning of what you had said, it is really good to have an actual utility. There is unfortunately a lot of, I don't want to say vaporware, but the things that aren't even quite complete yet. With back in the day, it'd be 20 to over 100. Okay, there were some literally in the billions of dollars of market caps that had virtually nothing to show, right? And at the end of the day, those things do get chopped down very hard in these markets. So it's good to see you have utility. And I think if people watching this aren't aware, advertising, the digital advertising space is humongous. It's driving, again, the revenue behind pretty much every single large, not only social media platform, but these big data companies like Google and all that. And if anyone's ever had the pleasure of trying to get ads through on these. It's expensive, especially depending on where you're targeting in the world and so on and so forth. And that's largely built on the information they put on the people. But keyword searching is a much more direct way that doesn't require violation of your privacy, so to speak. Like it's exactly what you're looking for. So here you go. And the way you've set it up with your token provides real utility for your token and incentivizes people to get into it as well. So I really like the way you've worked that out there. So then where we're sitting now, we're sitting at the time of this recording, it's July 1st, Canada Day, Independence Day weekend, right? So we're halfway through the year. How do you feel, aside from the crazy markets, which we're all very aware of, how do you feel the first half of the year has went for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's been a great year for Presearch so far as hitting milestones on our roadmap. We've just released our mainnet of our node platform, which is now powering the 4 to 5 million searches that are being done on the platform every single day. It's now, we've got a network of, I think today it was 73,000 user nodes that are running Presearch software that we can now allocate tasks to. And so we've got now that kind of fundamental layer of infrastructure in place. And overall, we've been continuing to get great coverage of the project, and just seeing continued increase in usage and uptake. And I mean, even in a down market and in potentially a down economy, advertising and targeting advertising becomes even more relevant and more valuable. People need to generate revenue even more, and they tend to look to those places that generate the best results because they need to generate more revenue. And the way to generate more revenue, there's really kind of two components. One is optimizing what you're doing, and then the other is getting more people into that funnel that you've built. And so advertising really plays well into that kind of need. And so I think Presearch is becoming, even more kind of relevant and valuable. And it's not one of those kind of fringe things that, a nice to have, or some type of a DeFi application that relies on these totally unsustainable promises that are being made. This is something that everybody searches, and people are continuing, especially throughout 2022, to become more aware of kind of big tech and some of the challenges that it poses, whether it's to freedom or to people's fundamental beliefs. And so they're looking for alternatives, and we've seen really huge growth in any of the private search alternatives that are kind of pulling people away from Google. And so yeah, overall the market conditions have actually been very favorable for driving growth in usage, and then driving growth in the actual advertising opportunity as well. So we're expecting more good things throughout 2022, but first half it's been busy, and we've accomplished a lot, and our community is feeling pretty excited about some of the milestones, specifically over the past month or two.
Yeah. What's really interesting is I feel like you guys avoided a very common problem in crypto of putting the cart before the horse, so to speak, where you're bringing, again, there's not a huge barrier of entry to people utilizing Presearch, right? It's a very low barrier to entry because everyone needs a search engine, right? Like it's not specific for crypto. It's a search engine at the end of the day. It's just if you want to get more involved in the ecosystem, then you get involved with the tokens and so on and so forth. But it isn't like, say, a lot of the other platforms, I won't name names or anything, metaverse related things and so on, where it's like, oh, we got all this advertising stuff lined up. It's like, yeah, but you don't have users. You don't have the people actually there to use it. So you guys have very much did things the correct way in that regard. It sounds like the first half of the year has been favorable to you because of that, and you've built yourself well. So here we're looking at the second half of 2022. What's the number one thing people should be looking out for? I know that's simplifying it maybe a little bit too much, but if there's just one thing, what would you say it is?
Yeah, so I mean, kind of the rest of 2022 really is all driven around decentralization for the project. So transitioning into a DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization that provides the project with increased resilience against any type of different shifts, let's say, on a global level, and just ensuring that the project is really beholden to its community members and driven by the community members, which I think is really big in kind of this era, specifically the past 2-3 months, where there's been like a lot of centralized trust with some of these different organizations, whether it's BlockFi or Celsius or Terra, which are some of the cryptocurrencies and platforms that have really, kind of broken the trust with their users. I think the more that you can align with the user base and the community is really important. And then for Presearch, that also includes decentralization of the infrastructure, and ultimately, building out that decentralized search index that provides us with, again, more resilience, but also more ability to provide users with, the search results that they are looking for, and more kind of choice when they're searching. And to really capitalize on that big opportunity, which is just, every day there are millions of people who are waking up to big tech and the influence that they have, and kind of the alignment, unfortunately, that big tech has with big government, and unfortunately the impact that big government has had on our economies and on our lives, whether that's through rampant inflation or violation of our fundamental rights and liberties.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of people right now who are realizing that big government is not good for people, and the number one enableization kind of arm is big tech, whether it's promoting agendas or suppressing other information, and so a lot of people that are shifting away from it. And so Presearch is doing everything that it can to be as decentralized and aligned with the community as possible. So lots more great things coming in 2022, from infrastructure, product features, and governance. But that's kind of the key theme is decentralization.
Yeah, very much agreed with you there on the decentralization of things. And again, that's a whole other rabbit hole we don't have to go down. I will offer one tasty morsel for people to see how big data and big government can work together, and that is look up the geofence warrants, also known as a reverse search warrant, and it is as shady as it sounds. But yeah, it's very much they're not on your side, unfortunately, at the end of the day. So this is something we need more of. Colin, thank you again for coming on. Thank you for your time today. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We'll have another interview coming up soon. Colin, have a wonderful day and a wonderful holiday weekend.
Thanks, you too, Michael. Take care.